This is the very picture of perfect wilderness building. Two brothers, without spending a single coin, built $1 million figure-8 bamboo house in the rainforest using nothing but their bare hands and no modern tools. In just 2.5 days, they transformed a desolate stretch of jungle into a whole new world. The two brothers pushed through the jungle and found a wide clearing. After a quick survey, they agreed this was the perfect place for a wooden house. Without hesitation, they swung their tools and began digging. Working side by side, their efficiency doubled, and soon rows of deep, round holes lined the ground just right for setting posts. The soil was piled neatly nearby, ready to be used later when the posts went in. Then they headed back into the forest, cutting down dozens of tall, slender trunks. They tied the logs together with rope and hauled them back to the clearing. Trip after trip, it was clear this build would demand a lot of wood. One by one, the tall trunks were set upright into the holes and packed tight with earth. Each brother took charge of a row, moving with the speed of men well practiced, and in no time the posts stood firm in several long lines. The scale of the project was obvious now. This would be no small hut. To strengthen the base, they fixed a long log horizontally across the bottom, right near the ground. They bored a line of holes into the long beams with a spiral knife, then hammered branches into place, using them as natural nails. Once the crossbeams were set, they shifted direction and fixed another layer on top. Their movements were perfectly in sync, steady and precise, an impressive display of teamwork. Step by step, they repeated the process, and for these two, it was as simple as breathing. Soon they were laying more beams in parallel, each brother holding one end, spiral knife in one hand, branch in the other, moving through each task with practiced rhythm. The midday sun poured down on their sunburned backs, a reminder that this sweltering summer would see them spending many more days working under the open sky. No wonder their skin had darkened several shades. With the front finished, the two circled to the back and kept going. The process was the same. Position the logs, bore through them with the spiral knife, muscles straining with every push. The trunks looked slim, but proved tougher than expected. Before long, the rear beams were fixed tight, and they clambered down with ease. Watching their mirrored movements, you'd swear even real brothers rarely work with such flawless rhythm. Next, they began nailing beams along the cabin's right side, moving upward as if sliding them into place. In no time, they had secured half a ring of logs around the top. The cabin's shape was uneven, with the left side rising higher, but they simply turned and kept working until the other half was done. From a distance, the frame now resembled a crook number 8, and in many cultures, 8 is a sign of fortune. By then, nearly half the build was complete. Without pause, the brothers headed back into the forest, cutting a bundle of bamboo, their bodies draped with trailing vines as they returned. After laying the bamboo down, one brother stayed to tend the fire while the other slipped back into the forest, cutting a bundle of shorter logs and hauling them home. They stacked the wood around the blaze, then picked up the bamboo for their next move. Resting each pole over the fire, they let the flames heat it, an odd trick at first glance, but one worth watching. Soon, they wedged a stalk between tree forks, each taking an end to bend it down. The heat had softened the bamboo, making it curve just the way they wanted. Clearly, this was the voice of experience from the two builders. Once the bend was nearly perfect, each brother took an end and carried the bamboo up from the right side, arching it across the roof before tying it firmly with vines and wood. Once one was secure, they placed another stalk over the fire, then braced it against a tree trunk, straining together to bend it. It was no easy task, but two men working in sync are stronger than one alone. With rare coordination, they soon had every piece fitted neatly across the roof. The site was almost artistic, logs aligned in perfect order, the design both clever and elegant. Watching them work, it was clear the brothers had a natural gift for building, true veterans of life in the wild. To build a cabin this large in the middle of the wilderness is almost unthinkable, yet the brothers brought it to life with ease. It was nothing short of impressive. Carrying their tools, they headed back into the forest, cutting more bamboo and splitting it into long planks, bundled and hauled home. One by one, they set the boards into place along the cabin's right side. With a spiral knife, they bored holes through both plank and beam, then hammered branches in as pegs. The gaps between boards were kept tight, making the cabin not only stronger but more pleasing to the eye. Soon the entire right side was complete. They hauled more planks onto the roof and secured them as well, each brother working an end with flawless rhythm, true efficiency in action. The camera shifted, and the roof planks were already in place, lined up so neatly it was a sight to admire. The brothers stayed locked in focus. Now only a small section below remained unfinished. Working together, they tackled it head-on, moving next to the floor and rear walls. They discovered a faster way to pierce the wood, manually twisting the spiral knife's handle, speeding the process with every turn. As expected, the more they worked, the more skilled they became. Bent over in steady labor, the workload felt heavier and heavier, but at last the back wall was finished. Then they carried up more planks, fixing them diagonally into the cabin's second level. From a distance, it now looked like a giant version of a bamboo craftwork. The brothers left space for a doorway, then crossed two layers of planks, forming a lattice-like wall. Heading back inside, they climbed down the ladder through the passageway, grabbed another bundle of planks, and set them along the cabin's left side, angling the boards across the wall. Each gap measured almost the same, giving the structure a perfectly neat look. One worked from above, the other below, and soon the entire wall was covered. To finish, they secured yet another layer of boards over the top. Just like the upper walls, this section was built in a lattice style, with careful gaps left for doors and windows. Before long, the cabin's walls were fully enclosed. The brothers then cut shorter planks. One climbed to the second floor by ladder, while the other handed them up. Working in perfect sync, one above and one below, they pressed each piece into the sides of the fixed wall. Then the camera shifted and the sight was stunning. It looked exactly like a handcrafted little villa rising out of the forest. At last, it became clear why ancient people longed for seclusion. The brothers built frames for the windows and door, securing each piece until the cabin was truly complete. Just then, a small black dog wandered over, drawn to the towering structure that had suddenly risen in the jungle. Curious, it circled and inspected. With tools packed away, the two men prepared to spend their first night here. And to you, watching through the screen, may you shed today's weariness and drift into a peaceful, restful sleep.